Hello, my name is Mark Eldridge, and I'm the founder and CEO of Think, Focus, Act. We are dedicated to maximizing the true personal and business potential that exists in people and organizations. Today, I'm going to present you with perhaps the most important information you've ever heard. You can literally rewire your brain for success. I know that sounds crazy, but I want you to know that this is not a bunch of motivational hoopla. What's exciting about what I'm going to share with you is that it's all proven by science. There's no guessing about whether a person can take back control of their brain. Science is showing us we can literally reprogram ourselves for success in every aspect of our lives. This is huge and can change the world. Before I begin, I wanted to put my contact information on the screen. Feel free to check out my credentials, and I'd love to hear from you and perhaps connect with you on LinkedIn. On the screen now are the four fundamental areas that we at Think Focus Act believe are the keys for any individual, business owner, executive, manager, or professional to maximize their business and personal potential. We've created powerful and proven training and coaching in these four areas. Contact me if you're interested in having us do a self-talk or other maximum performance presentation for your company or other organization, or if you'd like to discuss any of our training and coaching programs. All right, let's get into the importance of self-talk. This screen gives a simple definition of self-talk. Self-talk is a way to override our past negative programming by erasing or replacing it with conscious, positive new directions. Self-talk is a practical way to live our lives by active intent rather than by passive acceptance. Why are some people successful and others are not? From the moment you were born, every message you received was recorded in your brain. Everything you say, everything you hear, everything you see, everything you do, everything you experience, and even every thought you think is recorded in your brain. And every message you receive repeatedly gets wired in. We've learned from the field of neuroscience that the key to wiring your brain is repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. The messages you get that are repeated the most wire your brain the most. The problem is the part of the brain that stores all those messages we get. That part of the brain doesn't know the difference between something that is true or something that is false, right, wrong, positive, or negative. Your brain just records it and acts on it as though it's true. Your brain is wired for success or failure. Your brain is actually programmed or wired to succeed, or it's wired to fail, or something in between. Best-selling author Dr. Shad Helmstetter, a behavioral researcher and the leading authority on self-talk, has said that if you grew up in a reasonably positive home, During the first 18 years of your life, you were told no, or what you could not do, or what would not work more than 148,000 times. Researchers have also told us that as much as 77% of all the programs that you and I have today are false, harmful, or work against us. I'll show you how this works, how we get programmed. I'll give you a picture you can take home with you. It's called Self-Talk Park, and it works like this. Let's say you're an infant. You've just been born, but you find yourself magically standing in Self-Talk Park. I want you to imagine the Self-Talk Park is beautiful. There are no roads or pathways at all in Self-Talk Park. It's a park filled with endless green grass, beautiful trees, and overhead a beautiful blue sky with white, fluffy clouds. It's a perfect place to be. Now, let's say you get a message. It could be any message. And when you get that message, you walk a few short steps through Self-Talk Park. Imagine walking a few steps in this park. Then you stop and look back. And you can't even see where you walked because you got the message only once. And you haven't formed a pathway yet. But then you get the same message again, and then a few more times. You haven't formed a pathway yet, but you can start to see where you've been walking. And then that same message gets repeated frequently again and again. In the brain, each time a message is repeated, the brain is actually creating a pathway, an actual physical, chemical, neural pathway that gets stronger and stronger each time the message is repeated. I'll give you an example. Something that might be said to a 6-year-old. Susie, you're going to grow up to be chubby just like your Aunt Harriet. That isn't true when Susie first gets that message. But with enough repetition, Susie forms pathways in her brain that makes it become true. When Susie gets that same message or other similar messages about her weight or her appearance, repeated often enough, Susie's own self-talk creates an overweight picture of herself that gets permanently wired into her brain. Now, today, Susie is in her 30s. She's overweight. She's starting to look a great deal like her Aunt Harriet, and they don't even have to be related. By now, Susie is wired to be overweight. Here's another example. Jimmy, you'll never be president. You're not smart enough. You can never do anything like that. It's not true, of course, the first time Jimmy hears that, but with enough repetition, it will become true. Jimmy will never be president. He'll probably never do anything that even comes close. Jimmy could have done almost anything, but it's been wired out of him with those messages repeated again and again, telling him what he cannot do. Jimmy is going to end up being less, much less than he could have been. Jimmy is being wired to be less. In our own lives, through our own self-talk now, we end up repeating the same kinds of messages we first got from the world around us. And because of our self-talk, we become our number one programmer. In time, most of the pathways in Self-Talk Park come from us. Most of the messages we get come from our own self-talk. And unfortunately, many of the messages we give ourselves are the wrong messages. If you're listening to this right now in a room where there are walls, I want you to look at one of the walls, an entire wall. Imagine that the entire wall you're looking at is a map of your self-talk park. No matter how perfect it was when you were born, your map is now filled with paths and walkways and roads and highways and superhighways. Your entire map of Self-Talk Park is covered over with these roads and pathways. We all have a map like that. We all have thousands of roads and pathways we have created. The neural pathways in our brains that we follow every day of our lives. When we examine those pathways, it's easy to see that many of them are exactly the wrong pathways, but our brain is designed to follow them on autopilot without us even having to think about it. And because those pathways are physically wired into our brain, we follow them, even if they take us in the wrong direction. In your brain, every message you get from your own self-talk creates those pathways, and they're very real. Right now, we are literally wiring ourselves to succeed or fail. You were born to succeed. But what about the person you were before you got wired, before all those pathways were formed? The truth is, you were born to succeed. It's actually in your DNA. Each of us was born with unlimited promise and unlimited potential. We were born to succeed. We were designed to be successful. If that's true, and it is, what goes wrong? Why aren't we all as successful as we were born to be? My favorite place in the hospital is the newborn nursery, the infant nursery. You stand there in that hallway or in the viewing room looking through those windows, and there on the other side you see those wonderful sparks of light, those miracles of life. There they are, those precious little newborn infants lying in their little bassinets, wrapped in their swaddling blankets. And if they're awake and their eyes are open, you can actually see them searching, waiting to live out that incredible promise and potential they were born with. Everyone can see it. I have never seen anyone look at one of those little infants in their bassinets and say, "Loser." The promise and potential you were born with never goes away. It's always there, even if you can't always see it. It can get covered over by bad programs and the wrong self-talk, but underneath, your promise and potential are still there. If you were born in a hospital, you were there in one of those little bassinets with your eyes wide open, searching for that promise and potential to come to life in your life. That's where you started. And in the years that have gone by, since you were that infant, the programs you got have taken you to where you are today. I'd like you to do something. I'd like you to visualize something very clearly so you can see a perfect picture in your mind. Right now, I'd like you to visualize the most successful person you know or know of. This could be someone who is living or not, but it should be someone you believe to be successful in every way, not just financially successful, but successful in every important way. The person you visualize should be someone you would probably like to spend time with, someone you could learn from. It's probably someone you would like to emulate or be more like. This is a person who spirals up in their life, someone who is winning at life and going for it. So take a few moments and visualize that person. Get a clear picture of that successful person in your mind. Now, I want you to imagine in your mind a big audience and a stage at the front of the room. And we're going to ask that person to walk up the center aisle and step on stage and stand on the right side of the stage. Get this picture in your mind. This person wouldn't mind standing in front of all these people at all. She or he would be happy to be here because this person is completely confident and successful. Now, while that person is standing there, I'd like you to visualize someone else, the exact opposite of the successful person. Now, this time I'd like you to visualize someone who is failing. When I think of someone who is failing, the person I see to this day is a person who left home when he was 16 or 17 years old, and his parents have never seen him since. If they did find him, if he's still alive, I suspect they wouldn't even recognize him because of the amount of drugs in his system. But that's just who I see when I think of someone that's just failing completely. The person you visualize now can be of anyone you know or know of, someone who's spiraling down in life instead of spiraling up. And we'll ask that person to walk up the center aisle, come on the stage, and stand on the left side of the stage. I can assure you that this person who is failing would not want to stand on this stage. They wouldn't even want to be in the room. But for now, we'll ask them to just stand there. So here we are. Over there on the right is someone who is so successful in every way that we would like to be more like them. And over there on the left is one of the least successful individuals we could think of. The question is this: why is that person standing over on the right and that person standing over on the left? What is the difference? Why is one of them a success in life and the other one failing at life? I'll tell you the difference. It's their self-talk. It's the programs they got that put them there. We can prove it. All we have to do is listen to their self-talk. Listen to their programs. Let's listen to this completely successful person's self-talk for a few minutes, or a few hours, or a few days, or weeks, or years. When we listen to this person who is spiraling upward in life, we hear words like belief, faith, goals, achievement, possibilities, opportunities. Ask them if they can succeed at something and they say, yes, I will. When someone asks them for their help, they say, yes, I can. And we wouldn't just hear those kinds of words only now and then. We would hear them all the time and every day. That is this person's self-talk. That is this person's programming. That is who this person is. Now let's walk over to the left side of the stage and listen to the unsuccessful person. Let's listen to this person for a few minutes or for an hour or a few days or weeks or years. And I can assure you of this. From this person struggling and failing and spiraling downward in life, you will almost never hear words like belief, faith, goals, achievement, possibilities, opportunities. Ask them if they can succeed at something, and they will never say, yes, I will. When someone asks them for their help, they rarely say, yes, I can. If those words were ever there, they're gone now, covered over by bad programs and bad self-talk and bad wiring. This person was born to succeed like everyone else, and then got wired to fail. No one tried to do that, of course. I've never heard a couple say, I've got an idea. Let's get married, have kids, and mess their brains up. That would be crazy. Our parents and most of the people in our lives just tried to do their best. But they also got programmed by people who got programmed by people who got programmed. Here's what's so profound about these two people on the stage, one so successful, the other one failing so completely. It's entirely possible that these two people, now so far apart in their lives, could have been, in fact, the two infants we saw in the newborn nursery just a few short minutes ago. Their eyes wide open, searching, waiting to live out the unlimited promise and potential they were born to achieve. And they could have been born in the same hospital, in the same city, in the same hour, on the same day. Most of us, of course, would like to be more like this person on the right side of the stage, the successful one. Most of us would like to live more like this person. That's the goal for most of us. But how do you do that? How do you make sure you get the right programs and get wired for success instead of something else? Fortunately, the field of neuroscience has shown us a way to do that, a way that works. I'd like you to write a word down, the word on your screen. You probably know this word already, but even if you do, I'd like you to write it down. Neuroplasticity. It's spelled Neuroplasticity. It is one of the most important scientific words in our generation. Neuroplasticity. And here's why it's so important. It means that the brain is designed to change its programming. Most of us were taught in school that the brain stops growing new neurons or changing when we are very young. Because of new medical imaging technology such as fMRI and new techniques in brain scanning, we now know that your brain is designed to change throughout your entire lifetime until you take your very last breath. In fact, your brain is rewiring itself right now. So the big question is this: how do you rewire your brain in the right way? How do you change your programs? How do you change your self-talk? Through the work of Dr. Shad Helmstetter, who pioneered the scientific study of self-talk and how it works, we have learned that there are 3 steps to changing your programs. And they are 3 steps that anyone can take. Step number 1, monitor. Monitor means to listen. To get started, for the next 48 hours, listen to everything you say to someone else. Everything you say when you talk to yourself or about yourself. And also for the next 2 days, even listen to the thoughts you're thinking. If you hired someone to write down only what you said out loud for the next 30 days and then ask them to transcribe that and print it out and then circled in red everything you said repeatedly or often, and then you just read the things that were circled in red, you would know exactly why you are where you are today. You'd hear it in your self-talk. Just like the two people we listened to on stage a short while ago. Listening to your own self-talk will tell you what some of your programs are now. The second step is changing your programs is to edit. You were born with the gift of being able to stop before you say it or think it. Start editing out all the bad self-talk. If it's bad self-talk, it's wiring your brain with the wrong pathways. Don't say it, don't think it, and don't use it. Editing by itself won't rewire your brain with new programs. That takes repetition. But editing out the wrong self-talk will stop you from getting any more bad programs from yourself. Number 3, listen. Listen to self-talk. The most effective way we have found to change your programs and literally rewire your brain is by listening to the right kind of self-talk. The Self-Talk Institute has been producing recorded self-talk programs for over 30 years, and those self-talk programs that you can now download and listen to on your phone or your tablet are listened to every day by thousands of people all over the world. As we've learned from the field of neuroscience, the key to rewiring your brain in the right way is repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. That's how the brain gets wired, and that's why people listen to self-talk. Listening to the right self-talk for even 15 or 20 minutes a day gives you the right new programs and gives you the amount of repetition you need to rewire your brain in the right way. Today, there are recorded self-talk programs that cover everything from self-esteem to money and finances to career and business success to weight loss to relationships to programs for girls and women to programs for infants and teens and more. You'll find some of those programs listed on the Self-Talk store on our website. The self-talk programs you order will be downloaded directly to you from the Self-Talk Institute, and by tomorrow at this time, you can begin listening to your first self-talk programs. You'll notice on the Self-Talk store an option for you to receive a free bonus program worth $199 when you order the Lifetime Library of Positive Self-Talk. The Lifetime Library of Positive Self-Talk costs only $199 and includes 32 audio programs in the following 8 areas: self-esteem, taking control of your life, health and fitness, career achievement, financial success, positive relationships, personal development, and quality of life. There are also individual self-talk programs ranging in cost between $49 and $199. By far the best investment is the Lifetime Library, especially if you add one of the free bonus programs that's worth $199. You have 2 choices for your free bonus program. You can choose self-talk for weight loss or self-talk for personal and professional success. Be sure and print clearly on your order form. All of this is explained very clearly when you click on Self-Talk Store on our website, www.masterselftalk.com. To recap, here's what we've learned about the science of self-talk and how it works. From the moment we were born, we were programmed. Your brain becomes wired with the programs you get most. Your wiring determines your success or failure. You can change your self-talk and rewire your brain. The best way to change your programs is by listening to the right kind of recorded self-talk and then practicing that self-talk every chance you get every day. And I know a lot of you are going to be listening to self-talk. If there were two of you, and one of you listened to self-talk, the right kind of self-talk, and rewired your brain to succeed, and the other you was not allowed to listen to self-talk at all, a month from now or 6 months from now or a year from now, which one of the two of you would you vote for? Which of you would you choose to do best, to succeed? You were that infant in that newborn nursery with your eyes wide open, searching for that promise you were born with, waiting to live out your unlimited potential. Even if some of that potential you were born with got covered over with the wrong kinds of programs, you can bring it back. You can change your programs. And this time, science will be on your side. You can rewire. When you change your self-talk, you rewire your brain. When you rewire your brain, you change your life. Order the self-talk programs and begin changing and improving your life today. If you're thinking you'll do this, quote, someday, I just want to remind you that you'll never find someday anywhere on a calendar. This is about you taking back control and taking charge for your life now. You will be very glad you did. I want to encourage you to send people to our site, www.masterselftalk.com, and have them watch this video. Here's my contact information again. Self-talk can completely change the culture of an organization and its people. I'd love to help you any way I can. Thanks so much for watching this video.